Jackson from the corner.
Pull up, three. Good.
Step back three. That's a good shot for three.
Stepping through off the windows, good. Stepping through the raindrops and the finish on the right hand.
And then it's going to Boomers way with back-to-back threes. The Boomers are doubling the options.
Q.
Round 11 of the Cygnett WNBL continues in the nation's capital as the UC Caps host the Southside Flyers. And how wonderful it will be tonight to see Lauren Jackson, the greatest Aussie basketballer of all time, back in Canberra, a city where she achieved so much and caused nightmares for many opposition coaches. Today, LJ returns as a Flyer, and a Flyer in mighty form after a lazy 30-point display 3 nights ago. She'll be hoping to continue her individual form as well as her team's winning ways against Kristen Veal, a former teammate of Jackson's, and this young Caps side. Hello and welcome to the National Convention Centre in Canberra. It's the Caps hosting the Flyers. Ben Waterworth with you alongside 12-time WNBL champion and the person who coached Lauren Jackson through a lot of those WNBL championships as well, Carrie Graff. Carrie, great to be alongside you for what should be hopefully another GOAT masterclass.
Well, it was definitely that on Wednesday night in Sydney against Sydney. Boy, was she... I mean, you can't find the superlatives to speak about her when she plays like that. She just had it all. You know, she spent a lot of her life in Canberra at the AIS Centre of Excellence, Basketball Australia, played most of her WNBL career, all of her WNBL career other than this season with the Canberra Capitals, and here she is with the Southside Flyers back in Canberra, and they'll be hoping like hell that she doesn't put on a show like she did on Wednesday night in Sydney.
Yeah, she did it from beyond the perimeter. She did it in the low posts as well. She's continuing to expose opposition sides in a variety of ways. Yeah,
she was LJ of old. She opened the game with big threes. You can see that she's just an unbelievable catch. Knows how to use her body. She went to her classic turnaround jumpers, spins and rolls off her post defender. You know, then young Shervin even played some great D on her, and she took her outside and played off the dribble and shot a pull-up jump shot going left. It was a hit. You know, step into lane, shoot a little floater. There was no answer for her, and that was against pretty good defence too. It wasn't shabby defence. She was just in unbelievable form.
So the Southside Flyers currently sitting second on the WNBL ladder. The Boomers have got an extra game to win on the Flyers at the moment, but the Flyers, really keen to try and knock the Boomers off top spot on the ladder. It's a big task for the UC Capitals today. Obviously 1-14, but a tough season for Kristen Veal in her first season as coach. But anything's possible in this competition.
That it is. I mean, tough one for them tonight. You know, look, we should say the Southside Flyers are somewhat depleted. Abby Bishop's out with health protocols. They've lost their captain in Amy Rochi to a back injury. You know, they're down on numbers. I mean, talk about, depleted. The Capitals have been decimated by injury. They've got Britt Smart back in the lineup tonight, so that'll help a little bit. But they're without Alex Button. You know, Alex Button at 6'5" can at least match up size-wise with LJ. You know, they're just totally undersized. They bring in off the bench in the post young Chloe Tuliak, who's shorter than me. She's about 5'7", and she's going to play in the post. So they're going to have their work cut out for them tonight. But they'll be switching, they'll be fronting, they'll be trapping in the post, and they'll just have a red hot dip. The crowd are their sixth man. They'll get on their back. The crowd will be out there to watch LJ as well. But this one could be a scary one, but exciting nonetheless.
And then we have a look at how the Southside Flyers line up. It's a pretty handy starting five as well, showing no mercy tonight. Jackson gets the start, as she has done most of this season. But my word, what a pickup Kayla Thornton has been, not only for the Flyers, but for this league.
Yeah, absolutely. She's been impressive. You know, veteran professional player that's played all around the world. She's classy. You know, she's got a multitude of ways to score offensively. She's a good shot blocker. You know, it appears that she's fit well into this system. She's a good person. And you talk about depth. You know, depth for teams, you know, helps win championships, of course, but it helps you carry through injury patches. You know, then you say, oh, Abby Bishop, you know, a London Olympian's out. You know, Amy Rochi, a veteran of this league and leader, is out. And they've still got punch off the bench. You know, this team is deep. They play well together. They're going to be impressive to watch tonight.
There we see Lauren Jackson making her way onto the National Convention Centre court, and talked about beforehand Tuliak potentially matching up on Lauren Jackson. You also get the sense that Beck Pizzi also might be having to match up against Lauren Jackson at some stage tonight.
Yeah, I mean, look, Pizzi will have the bulk of it, you'd imagine. You know, but when you've got a young bench player that's, you know, undersized, more like a guard size, going to have to try and defend the size of the Southside Flyers in Carly Ernst and Lauren Jackson. They're both legit 6'5". It's a tough ask for this undersized, undermanned UC Capitals team.
Carly Ernst has got the start as well, and Carly Ernst tonight playing game number 250 in the WNBL, so congratulations to her as Jade Melbourne, explosive early, tried to get an early bucket on the board, but just lost control. Within 3 seconds as well, Jade Melbourne off to the races, the young gun.
And that's what this team will have to do tonight, you know, push tempo if they can, see if they can get some cheap buckets, and then do the best they can to play on the, you know, keep this. How do they defend the interior play of this huge Southside Flyers team?
So Burrell is there defending for the UC Caps. Coldo into Jackson. There's that catch, and there's that turnaround, Jay. Perfect start for Lauren Jackson.
Yeah, it's a signature move for her, hard to defend.
Burrell behind the back, trying to link up with a couple of teammates there. Pizzi involved as well. Melbourne switches it out towards the Munga, putting up, just misfiring.
Clearly a tactic of the UC Capitals to put the ball on the deck early, see if they can suck in some of that Southside Flyers defence, spit out to wide open shooters.
Here's Ernst backing away. Bank is open early. Carly Ernst with an overly confidence booster for her.
And big mismatch, you know, Shanice Swain, totally undersized, down low in the block. Ernst just with the easy turnaround.
These two teams have already met 2 times this year, both convincing victories for the Southside Flyers, but what a move there from Swain to get the scoring underway for the Caps.
Yeah, and rewarded by a, you know, invitation into the Opals extended squad on her form this year. Beautiful athlete, has had to step into the starting lineup. You know, played the last couple of seasons with the UC Capitals, but didn't see much time through injury, but she's certainly had an impact on this season.
Turnover as Jade Melbourne explodes away. I think she was trying to find a teammate out in the corner. May have looked like a shot, but she was pointing towards the corner there, saying that was for you. Didn't quite come off, but nonetheless, she's made an explosive start to this game.
She has. So she's got jets. She can get downhill. She can get her feet in the paint. She's a challenge to defend. Great matchup tonight, that one. A mouth-watering matchup. Jade Melbourne versus Maddie Rochi. Maddie Rochi's been in fine form for the Southside Flyers.
Great to have Jade Melbourne at the free throw line here, 77% free throw shooter. Last 2 games, though, Carrie, she had 10 rebounds in both of her last 2 games. So, for a guard, that's pretty impressive signs.
Yeah, it is, and that's what they need. You know, they're playing without any depth in the post. They've got one legitimate post in Beck Pizzi, and they're playing small ball full guard types around a post player. So their guards have got to step up. They've got to block out bigger opponents. You see, they're doing their best. Jade Melbourne trying to block out Carly Ernst, 5'8" versus 6'5". That's a tough block out anytime. You've got to try and bend them over like a half-shut pocket knife, but it's a tough ask.
What have the Caps got early stages? So we've been waiting to see how they will respond to every Flyers challenge that is thrown down. Ray Burrell, what a pickup she's been for Cameron. Some really good form as well, Ray Burrell, in the past few games. Here's Munga. Handing off for Burrell. Pick and roll here with Pizzi. It was bumped by Thornton, and Pizzi with the left hand able to lay it in.
Well executed, good poise. Burrell and Pizzi in the ball screen action. Nice little pick and roll, as you say. Rolls her down low, finds his finish.
Melbourne hits the deck. And there's a foul against her Caps. After a couple of early Flyers buckets, able to respond at the other end.
They have. Look, and they will have watched the contest between Sydney on Wednesday night, taken something from that. Sydney similarly was, you know, you'd say somewhat undersized and undermanned, a team with, you know, that can play with reckless abandon and nothing to lose. So we're seeing that early. They're not taking a backward step as Burrell takes the transition 3, can't get that to drop.
Jackson at the other end was able to get the turnaround to go. Blitzars was hoping to find a cutting Cole, but pass was just behind her, and they can reload the Caps.
Just didn't connect. That Cole was looking for the back cut. So Blitzars didn't quite read it, but acknowledged to each other. We weren't quite on the same page.
A bit of a different role for Beck Cole, I think, this year compared to past seasons with Southside. Probably not as much, certainly, offensive responsibility on her shoulders this year as Burrell. What a move inside. Couldn't quite get that one to go. No foul called either.
The crowd felt that miss with her.
Thornton back on the floor. So Ernst got the start over Thornton, like early stages. There's Blitzarves in the post, able to get the floater to drop.
Yeah, Southside Flies, clearly it's there on their strategic offensive sheet. Inside, inside, inside. We see any mismatch. Sarah Blitzarves gets a small player on her back. Inside to LJ, inside to Ernst, inside to Thornton.
Here's Burrell. So dangerous inside the perimeter. Munga tried to go to work on Thornton, but before that took a step too many and is called for the travel.
Got a little excited, felt that was somewhat of a mismatch.
It has to be said as well, the Caps have been obviously struggled for wins this season. It really has come down to their poor first quarters as Maddie Rochi drives hard inside. Count the points, she'll go to the line for an extra. Overall, heading into this game, Carrie, the Caps were minus 115 total points in first quarters alone so far this season. And we all know how much, in any sport, a game is set up in the opening stanza. And the Caps have basically, for most of the season, been behind the 8 ball. Yeah,
they have. And certainly in that first patch of their season when teams were scoring 100 plus on them, you know, I think they've progressed through that and they've seen a lot of change in their team. Import gone home. You know, as I said, decimated by injury, a bulk of players out. Played the last couple of games with 6 rostered players and 2 development players. Having said that, I think they've adjusted some of those first quarters. They've been there and abouts in ball games. They've managed to hold teams to scores that are more beatable. You know, if you're depleted, you can't get close to anyone scoring 90 or 100 points. So I think they're certainly being improved, but you just don't have the depth to see you through. And here they clearly don't have the size to match. But they're going to hang around and they're going to have a fight.
Melbourne was forced to put up the rush shot there. So Maddie Rochi takes control. What form she's in for the Southside Flyers this year. For Jackson. Lovely pass inside. Backing it off the glass. Another bucket for Blitzarves.
Yeah, well executed back cut there. Capitals obviously clearly trying to get out in the lane, see if they can force the feeders to the inside players out past that 3-point line. Southside Flies counter-attack it nicely with the back cut and easy basket.
Cole, good defence there, able to force the turnover. Rochi brings the ball into the front court. Great to have your company wherever you're watching on 9 now. Cygnett WNBL action on a Saturday night. Thornton out wide for Rochi, who catches and shoots and misfires. Munga almost lost control. Beck Cole, one of the best at creating turnovers in the WNBL. So elusive here in that mid-court range. Melbourne, Pizzy for Melbourne as he sets the screen. And we saw Pizzy shoot the 3 a couple of games ago.
She's not shy to take it.
No.
That one hit the back of the rim.
Halfway through this first quarter, Jackson v Pizzy. What a matchup and what an opportunity it is for Beck Pizzy. She had no answers there for the GOAT.
She's still got such great strength. You know, she's legit 6'5". I'm going to say she was probably 6'6" when she played. She might have shrunk a little bit, but she, you know, she just knows how to use her body. She's just, you know, and that's what comes with experience and age too. Pizzy just looked like an under 18 girl. Then Jackson just barreled her out of the way, reverse pivoted, and then found an easy low post basket. 6 points for Lauren Jackson. This timeout is brought to you by CTM Sport. If you're considering travelling interstate with your basketball team, consider CTM Sport. They've got a competitive, innovative and customised travel solution which will put your team on top. For more information, head to ctmsport.com.au. It is a terrific opportunity for Beck Pizzy tonight, who's been, you know, around the WNBL for a number of years. This is game number 72 as well. She's remarkably the only Canberra player this year who's played every game. Yeah, and that speaks to, you know, she's robust. Obviously, she's been a role player in most teams she's played at. That's what she came here to do, and she's ended up in the starting lineup and had to take and be the solo post player against teams with, you know, 3 or 4 legitimate bigs. You know, but that's, with those opportunities comes the opportunity to improve, and, you know, hopefully you can get one highlight reel against LJ where she doesn't score on your head. Easy said than done, of course. Absolutely. Great to have Lauren Jackson back in Canberra as well. Most of her WNBL NBL champs with the Capitals. As Carrie mentioned, of course, that star-studded AIS team back in the late 1990s. She was a headline act there. It was technically one in Canberra, but gave great service to the Caps and really sort of helped kickstart her awesome career, which is still going, which is quite remarkable to think. Here's Maddie Rochi. Fast break here for Cole.
thought about pulling up for the mid-range too. Goes herself, working her way into the key, but can't get that one to go.
That's when they're dangerous, the Southside Flyers. They get stops and get out and run. They're an excellent transition team offensively. They can be dangerous.
Munga thought about sort of driving into the key, then saw Lauren Jackson and U-turned. And then a turnover is created by the Flyers.
We see Tonks and Kalea in for the UC Capitals.
Yeah, Tonks back from injury, missed a couple of games after being sidelined with injury, but her and Britt Smart both named tonight to start on the bench. Lovely cut from Thornton, lovely pass from Jackson, and Thornton gets the 2.
Yeah, some nice high-low action there. Get it into LJ at the high post. She gets a nice flash from her low post buddy in Thornton. It's Shanice Swain with the 3 ball.
Lovely shot from Shanice Swain, continuing her breakout WNBL season. Been terrific to watch her and Jade Melbourne team up. Cole in the corner, steps a little bit further out, then changed her mind at the last minute. It was a good decision to go to Thornton. It sets up a Blitzarves triple opportunity. And Munga raising up. I'm going to bring it down.
Kalea just happy to settle the tempo here. Tonks loses the handle.
Yeah, and Maddie Rochi was waiting to pounce as well. Can't give her a sniff in that kind of situation. Foul is called though. So 3 minutes 20 left. And in this one, here's Tonks losing control and Rochi desperate as always. So 17-9 lead for Southside. Thornton, too big and too strong there. Pizzy, a lot being asked of her, and Thornton draws the contact.
Yeah, if she doesn't have LJ, she's got Thornton. Take your pick. And good luck. I mean, did a great job to keep her body there. Just came in with the hands that the referees then little hand reach came in at the end.
So that the fresh news involving Kayla Thornton happened 5 days ago. She was part of a 3-way trade in the WNBL that saw Kayla Thornton traded from Dallas to New York, and as part of that, Beck Allen was traded from New York to Connecticut. So a major trade there. She's been regarded as a sort of WNBA veteran, Kayla Thornton, after a lot of years at Dallas, 132 starts from 194 WNBA games. She's a very established WNBA player, so a significant trade struck only 5 days ago involving one of our own Opals.
Absolutely.
So Burrell.
And coached by one of our...
Yes.
By our Opals head coach, Sandy Brondello, head coach at New York Liberty.
Shot just off target there, but Zar's able to bring down the rebound. Potch onto the floor, lovely pass inside, terrific ball movement. Conti involved, Thornton puts it in.
Yeah, they're impressive. They get out and run. They love to run. They can rack up a massive score when they get on the break. Britt Smart loves that spot from the corner. Welcome back from injury.
She's back. Lovely stroke from Britt Smart. Perfect way to recommence her WNBL campaign. Potch loves a three-point attempt, but that is her athleticism on display. She couldn't quite get that 2-ball opportunity to go.
Yeah, Potch was huge on Wednesday night in Sydney. Came up with match-winning blocks down the stretch.
Hard to think she's only 18 years of age. Gio Potch. Flies. Working with Rochi and Potch here. It's Connie to her left. Rochi goes herself. Tough right-hand attempt. Thornton brings down the offensive rebound and puts it back, and she's got a few baskets in a row now for the Flyers.
Yeah, it makes it tough for the UC Capitals. You know, we talk about they're playing small ball. As Tonks launches from the corner, mark that spot for the UC Capitals.
She's back in the team as well. Elizabeth Tonks, cleared to play tonight. Game number 14 for her. Lovely pass from Thornton to Potch.
Just when you think you can hang around and stay in touch, the Southside Flyers have an immediate answer. They can go inside, they get a put back, they go inside, outside.
Burrell steps back for 3, and she knocks it down. Rattles in. Just getting the good responses at the moment as the UC Caps.
Finding a way to hang around when you can make big shots, you can hang around in the contest. Big for them here. Can they get a stop? Can they defend the interior domination and size of the Southside Flyers?
62% from the field at the moment, the Flyers. Flying in at the offensive end of the floor. Conti pulls the trigger, knocks it down. They can't miss.
She answers the rattle with the rattle.
Monique Conti puts her name on the scorebook for the first time tonight. as Rochi takes a seat.
Some issues with the scoreboard again.
Southside Flyers have got 16 points in the paint so far in this first quarter.
And that was been essentially, there've been big differentials on the scoreboard in the last two games, but in game one, Canberra won by 20 points and it was plus 20 points in the paint. And in game two, they won by 22 points and it was plus 14 points in the paint. Obviously, both in favour of the Flyers on those two occasions.
Yeah, and it's a strength of this Southside Flyers team. And you think they've got Abby Bishop to add back to their lineup. Legit centre, legit. Has been a star in the WNBL previously. Has played in the WNBA. Is an Olympian. This team's got 4 legitimate post players that could possibly start on most other teams.
Well, Thornton lost control on the fast break attempt. Burrell misses the 3, but they've got a fresh 14 to work with. Britt Smart driving baseline, losing control thanks to a tap away there from Potch, and they've got 9 seconds to work with now, have the Caps.
Yeah, can the UC Capitals, get a basket here, get a stop, come back and get another basket, you potentially go into the quarter, only 6 points down, within touch, within reach.
Smart, lovely move inside, and then Ernst raising up. Foul is caught, I think, on Ernst. She can't quite believe it.
Nor can Britt Smart, but she'll take the free throws. Maybe she hit her in the back of the head. Hard to see from where we're commentating from. Very easy for the referees to determine a call like that.
Game number 128 in the WNBL for Britt Smart, 3 seasons with the Boomers. Obviously spent time with the Flames as well. Still finding a way to contribute with the UC Caps.
That was the second. Disappointed that she missed the first. Pretty good free throw shooter.
Conti, Potch.
Caps in a zone now, some 2-3 zones. See if they can clog up the middle.
Potch just lost control.
Shots.
And Tonks brings it with no shot clock remaining in this first quarter. Ball with Kalia. Goes to work, kicks it out. It's an open shot here. Tuliak.
Rattles in the 3, Tuliak.
She hit a terrific 3 the other night. And now she gives the Caps some great momentum at quarter time and brings the crowd with her. It's a 28-22 Flyers lead over the Caps, but a nice little surge carry towards the back end of that quarter by the Caps.
Yeah, it was. Obviously rotations from both teams in terms of utilising their bench. A little bit of zone at the end of that quarter helped the Capitals clog it up a little bit, while some of the, try and prevent that interior play of the Southside Flyers. Come up with a big shot at the end of that quarter to just stay in touch. If they can stay in touch, the crowd will jump on their back. If they can continue to make some shots, but they've got to try and find a way to limit the interior points of the Southside Flyers. You say that and then it opens up and they can hit the 3, but can they pack it a little bit, not get mismatched every time? Once they get mismatched down low on the block, it's hard to defend that, particularly if the post players are running to the point of the rim. If they're at the low post, you've got a chance to double team them. If they're at the point of the rim, there's not a chance to double team. It's pretty much an easy 2 points. You see Lauren Jackson just use her muscle with her experience to totally score easily over Pizzy.
Quarter time, it is a 28-22 lead, a little 10-5 run in favour of the Caps at the back end of that quarter, but both teams shooting at a pretty good clip early stages.
Yeah, and this is where you say, look, the Flyers are shooting 67%. They're only 1 of 4 from the 3-point line. Pack it in. They're to shoot the ball from the 3-point line, and then you've got to make sure you block out. Look, having said that, Southside Flyers have a bunch of people that shoot the 3 well, but you got to try and play the numbers here. You're totally undersized. You're totally mismatched. You got to try and come up with different ways to be disruptive to the Southside Flyers. Not let them get comfortable. Don't stick in the zone too long. Go back to you switching man to man and fronting and trapping, but you got to try and find a way to combat their interior scoring, and that's both off the dribble penetration and both off the pass penetration to their bigs.
Real challenge for Caps coach Kristen Veal. Had a pretty first inaugural season, got her first win, and she's spoken a fair bit in the media recently about how relieved she was to get that first win as well. But been in the system for a while, Carrie, and hopefully bigger and better things ahead for Kristen Veal from a coaching perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, as we said, we've talked about the adversity they've had to hold, decimated by injury. They lose, an import leaves. But they're certainly playing much better basketball than the start of the year. And now you're trying to play a style that you hadn't planned for. Small ball, no bigs to sub in. So, that changes what you do too. But certainly the intent of the athletes and the way they're playing basketball is on the right track.
Yeah, their first 8 games this season, they conceded at least 90 points in every game. But since then, they actually haven't conceded. As the Flyers work the ball around. Blitzarves for Conti. Long attempt there from Conti. Thornton was screaming for it in the low post, but maybe that's what the Caps will do from here, try and force those three-point attempts as Burrell steams through. Foul is called on the Flyers.
We see they're a former UC Capitals player and Sydney Flames player, Michelle Cozier, now a WNBL referee, had a long and successful WNBL career, won championships, was on Opal squads. Great to see a former athlete refereeing at this level.
Pizzi catches, can't hit the shot though. As Thornton linking up with Conti. So 28-22 lead here for the Caps. Will they try and force another three-point attempt here after their dominant start in the paint south side?
See, Thornton had Munga on her back, demanding the ball down low, didn't get it. Goes into LJ.
Good defence from Pizzi, but Jackson, just too good. That's impossible to defend.
Yes, that's the strength of LJ. She played her whole career scoring over double teams.
Yeah.
She gets physical. Great defence by Pizzi, but LJ just too good.
Burrell fading away, can't get that one to drop. Jackson brings down another rebound. It's his second rebound of the game. Thornton providing a real headache. And there, again, they combine Thornton to Potch, who has the easy layup.
Yeah, great read. We saw Shanice Swain go early and try and double team. Thornton was away to it. Swain with the three.
Swain swishes it in. So they get the response, the Flyers.
See the UT Capitals trying to be disruptive on scores. It looks like here on made baskets they're going with the 2-3 zone. On misses back to their man-to-man. They're trying to double team the post. Thornton backs down her man. Out to Potch in the corner.
Oh, what a young star she is. Terrific start from Nadia Potch. The Flyers back out to that 10-point advantage.
Yeah, that's the strength of this team. Just as you get as Swain with the floater. Can't get it to drop.
Pretty cool that we've got Potch and Melbourne and Swain all out on the same court tonight. And then also, Lauren Jackson at the other end of the experience spectrum. Great competition, the WNBL is. Potch hits the triple. She's hot and feeling it.
And fantastic ball movement against the zone there from the Southside Flyers. The ball went in, it came out, they changed sides. Ball moved through hands. Wide open three for Potch, who just hit the three prior.
Now she's
excellent
playing
offense.
Real tight defense, Potch on Burrell. Ensuring no easy catch here for Burrell. Melbourne tries to drop it inside. That is so good. Brilliant from Jade Melbourne. Tough shot he's made, and she'll go to the line for an extra.
Wow, she gets heat from Conti, up and in her grill. Gets by her, takes a big hit. You see her here, puts it through her legs. Conti reads it, spins off. The great players find a way to finish.
Yep.
They can take a hit, finish. They can be off balance, finish. That's what the best players in the world do. They find a way to get a finish.
Averaging the 12 points per game. Top 10 in the WNBL for assists and steals. And she's a 77% free throw shooter. She gets one back there for the Caps. Make it an even 10-point ball game. They press up here on the Flyers. Giving the Flyers plenty to think about. Rochi drives hard inside, and foul will be called against Munga.
Rochi says, anything you can do, Melbourne, I can do as well.
She's only 24 years of age. Maddie Rochi, part of this sort of big brigade of young guards developing in Australia at the moment, which is so exciting for our future.
Stands up her man, hesitates, puts the jets on, gets downhill, draws a foul, gets herself to the free throw line. Smart play. We talk about the interior play of the Southside Flyers, and it's twofold. It's getting the ball inside to their post players and utilising their size, but it's also getting their perimeter guards that are quick and can go downhill hard attacking penetrations, feeding the paint and finding finishes. And that's the strength of this team with their interior play. You talk points in the paint, it's not just the post play.
Reed.
So you can see on your screen, very, very soon, the Flyers will be hosting the Flames at John Cain Arena, set to create WNBL history when they host the Sydney Flames. The Flyers in their first ever WNBL game, who played at the John Cain Arena Saturday, Feb 4. Game will provide Victorian sports fans the opportunity to come together, celebrate Australia's greatest ever basketballer who's returned to the WNBL for the Flyers this season and is making an impact, as we just saw.
On cue.
They throw the ball away, the Caps, as Jackson takes her growing tally to 10. And the Flyers now out to a handy 14-point advantage.
Yeah, that's the challenge with this team. You know, the Caps make a little run, get it back to 6. Within a minute, they can push it back out to 14. The danger here, there's a blow to 20. So the UC Caps.
Poch, great vision. Inside for Rochi, back for Poch, who steams through. Can't get it to go. Terrific offensive rebound. Almost brought another. The desperation from this young gun was awesome.
She was 1-on-3 on the boards. With her length and athleticism and the undersized Caps, she could come up with that board, but great. Look at her persistence here.
Four Caps around her, and she still finds a way to come up with the ball. And found Rochi on the pass out too. Rochi at the free throw line. She's in some serious form coming into this game, Maddie Rochi. Her last 3 games, averaging 20 points at 54% clip from the field, 5 rebounds and 6 assists averages from those 3 games as well. Just one of a number of Flyers players in some decent touch at the moment. Munga for Melbourne, for Burrell for 3. Can't get it to go. They're up the Caps bench, riding that one home. Couldn't drop as Rochi finds Thornton, who's causing some headaches underneath the basket.
Danger, danger, warning, Will Robinson. This is where they're scary. You know, they're verging on a 20-point margin, but Tonks says,
I'll try.
Can't get it.
Can't get it to go. Jackson brings down the rebound.
They push tempo.
Thornton again. Too big, too strong. Then gets the offensive rebound and absolutely makes sure of it. And it is now that 20-point differential halfway through the second quarter.
Yeah, it's you know, you can see their sheer dominance here with just size and power. You know, she's got experience, she's got size, she's got strength over Munga, and just backs it down and takes it. You know, it's I won't say walk in the park, but for a post player like that, you know, an undersized player, it's tough for them.
Averaging the 16 points per game. She's had at least 10 points in every game she's played in this WNBL season to date.
Yeah, and she just goes about her business. She's impressive.
84% free throw shooter as well, Kayla Thornton. So completes the 3-point play. Melbourne, so much asked of her. Carry this
Southside
side.
Flyers now in it. They're cracking a bit of a zone, perhaps. No, it's bad.
Tuliak finds Melbourne. That's a tough shot, but she gets to go. Well worked out between Tuliak and Melbourne.
Good finish. Melbourne then call into plays on makes. They're sitting back in a 2-3 zone, trying to pack it in, try and prevent this. When Thornton can just back down isolated one-on-one as Rochi launches the 3.
No good. Pizzi brings down the rebound. So that 19-point differential as Melbourne steams through. She's made some real tough layups early in this game. Can't get that one to drop with the left on that occasion. Good crowd in attendance, as there always is at the National Convention Centre. They love their Caps in the nation's capital. They'll turn up no matter what form their side's in. And my goodness, Beck Cole drains the triple from long range. Pretty to watch from Beck Cole. He's been a terrific 3-point shooter throughout her WNBL career. Pizzi hoping for a cut. Melbourne closely guarded here by Cole. Gets the screen from Pizzi. Melbourne almost losing control. She tries to go again. 2 to shoot. Has to put it up. And well off target. Thornton just reaches over the head there of Britt Smart to bring down the rebound.
Yeah, and when they focus on their defence, which Coach Cheryl Chambers implores in them, they need to be defensive focused. That allows them to get stops, get out and run. And they've got so many offensive weapons. But you can see them here now, the Southside Flays, the defence that Beck Cole applied to Jade Melbourne with that shot clock running down speaks to her experience, speaks to her understanding of the game, what they need to maintain this big margin and really make a statement about who this Southside Flyers team is this season and what their goals and aspirations are.
Rochi banks it in off the glass, makes it a 24-point ball game. She's got 9. And a timeout is called. Well-timed one as well. It is getting a little bit out of control for the UC Caps with 3 minutes on the clock in the second quarter. This timeout brought to you by Cygnett. To stay connected with the latest WNBL news and social highlights, keep your favourite tech charged up at home or on the go with Cygnett's extensive range of charging products and digital accessories. A massive thank you to Cygnett for powering the WNBL this season with high-quality tech. Explore their range right now at cygnett.com. In the shoes of Kristen Veal, Carrie, what's your sort of attitude and approach at this stage?
I think she'll just reiterate what it is that they've been trying to do. I don't think it's been through lack of effort. It's just exposing their lack of size. You know, I thought they've done a good job to try and go into some zone, change it up, try and trap the post, but we've seen it time and time again. They're just out-muscled in the post and outsized, and you know, there's not much you can do about that other than say, good job, that's what we're focused on. Try a few different things, make sure they're executing their offense. Can they get some baskets? And critically, they need some baskets at the rim. Yes, inside, outside. Unfortunately, they don't have too much to go to in the post.
Yep.
But they've got to try and, you know, get some stops and in particular see if they can slow down the running game of the Southside Flyers. That's where this thing could break even further open if they just get out and run. It becomes a party. But she'll implore them to execute offense. They've still got things to work on and understand that they've just got to try and manage their mismatches and understand they're totally undersized.
Smart keeps the ball moving quickly. Tuliak works her way inside and banks it in off the glass, and she's got a nice little career-high WNBL points tally already.
You know, they moved the ball well, got it through sets of hands.
Rochi lobs it in. Blitzarves, too good.
Yeah, there we say same mismatch. Blitzarves at 6'2", Tuliak at 5'8". Blitzarves just posts her up. Burrell on the rim.
Oh, that was a pretty move. Didn't quite come off. Kalia with the left hand. It gets that one to drop. So a couple of buckets in a row.
And the thing we're seeing is they're still playing with intensity and effort. You know, it's if that goes, there's a problem. But they've got intensity and effort. Southside Flyers have just got size. They've got depth. They've got experience.
Rochi works her way inside.
And they were pushed to the limit by the Sydney Flames, undermanned, undersized, under duress on Wednesday. So they coming in here, there's no way they were going to let that happen again. They knew, you can't take teams like this lightly, nor did they want to take Sydney lightly. But they've come in here so far and they're putting on a clinic and going to what's working for them. They've got absolute size domination on the interior and they're milking that one.
So this is as Smart puts up the triple attempt and misfires. Great rebound from Thornton. This is the 5th time from the past 6 games that Southside will at least have 50 points at half-time. They're in some hot shooting form, and Beck Cole continues that with a tough shot as well from the baseline.
Yeah, they have so many weapons. They've got, and we talk about they've got Amy Rochi out, they've got Abby Bishop out. Both players that can score double digits or lead the team and add assists or get rebounds in Bishop's case. Beck Cole can score big. Maddie Rochi can score big. Carly Ernst can come in and play big. Sarah Blitzarves, Opal can score huge. LJ can score huge. Thornton, the list goes on. Monconti's a legit WNBLer. Their depth is unbelievable.
Nice defensive set there from the Caps as Tuliak brings the ball away. Smart. Beating Tuliak now as well. Kalia. The bench players for Canberra having a really good look here. He was involved as Kalia tried to work her way towards the basket. Just over a minute remaining in this quarter. Yeah,
the defensive intensity then by the Southside Flyers is impressive. We've just talked about their offensive punch and their depth, but when they turn on the tap defensively and apply pressure, they are unbelievable to watch.
So foul was called, so they've got 14 seconds to work with now. The Caps, he's Smart. Oh, no one came at her, so she said, thanks very much. I'll roll that in by my fingers into the hoop. 20-point differential. The Flyers, though, They have got their shooting game on tonight. Already 58 points, and we've still got a little bit left. Make it 60 just before half time for the Flyers.
Yeah, this is a clinic.
Yep.
They're just going to their strength.
Burrell, Tuliak, 7-second differential between game clock and shot clock before the end of the second. Smart turns around, can't get it to go. Rebound though from Kalia for Burrell, who draws the contact, can't get the shot to go, but will head to the free throw line for a couple.
Yeah, look, you see there's the intensity from the UC Capitals still. They're staying engaged, they're making effort plays. They just haven't got the answers for this unbelievably deep Southside Flyers team.
Burrell coming into this game in some great form in the last 3 games, averaging the 21 points at 51% from the field. Although her previous 2 games against the Flyers, she had scored 3 points and 2 points and didn't hit a field goal, all her points coming from the free throw line. That has changed tonight though. She's got 1 field goal to her name and now has 5 points. Maddie Rochi is fouled.
It's a little half-court press then by the UC Capitals. Fouled in that trap.
Only a couple of weeks ago that the Flyers put on 118 points. It's a lazy 118 points against the Bendigo Spirit. Well, they're already halfway to that mark. And we're almost halfway through this game. And they can add to that now with Maddie Rochi at the free throw line. 67% free throw shooter, Maddie Rochi.
Yeah, an area she'd like to pick up. She's got great technique. She's had a better clip than that previously.
She's been hot tonight early. She is 7 of 7 tonight from the free throw line. What a start this is from the Flyers to this game. The Flyers apply the defensive pressure. Look at Thornton. Relentless. That sums up this defensive performance from the Flyers early. Right up until the final seconds there. No easy buckets for the Caps. And at half-time, it's ominous. It's the Flyers 62, the Capitals 40 off the back of a 34-point quarter from the Southside Flyers. It's their best quarter for the entire season, the Southside Flyers, and it's ominous.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen them score almost at will.
Tonight is part of the inaugural Pride Round games for the Adelaide Lightning. Not sure she was trying to dribble or go behind the back there. Kabila, it might pay off because Whittle lays it in for 2. Stolen there by Brooke. Ellie Wilson regains control and Annalie Maley, beautiful stroke. Another offensive rebound for Maley. That was almost too easy off the offensive glass.
So too to Wickham. Atwell now launches. The Perth Lynx went on a great run there and Wickham wants to get a basket back and does. Not quite having the night she had last time against this team, but Wickham is playing for this Perth Lynx side. So too does Amy Atwell and nails the 3.
Paige Burrow's going to work. George puts up a long-range 3 and nails it. Kayla G for 3. George with the block on Burrell. George feeling it at the other end.
3 seconds. Munga's going to have to put up a shot. She gives it off. Almost a half court from Melbourne. It's good. What a shot, Jade Melbourne.
Oh, that was just what you call a buzzer beater, last second fling.
All the energies with Canberra at the moment. Swain and 1. Get a high percentage shot if possible. Munga loses her feet. Burrell for 3. Dagger! upsets of the season as the Caps break through to end their 12-game losing streak.
Sports fans, this is your chance to be part of history and celebrate Australia's greatest basketballer of all time.
Yes, Lauren Jackson, you are the queen of basketball and we love it.
LJ's Southside Flyers host the Sydney Flames in the first ever WNBL game at John Cain Arena.
Oh, she's feeling it. She's seriously feeling it.
You won't want to miss this history-making moment in women's basketball. Be part of a record WNBL crowd. Tickets on sale now at Ticketek.
Do not underestimate the power of a good blind. Take this exhausted couch. Now it stands before you. Magnifique. Even this cocktail of dead skin is gracefully waltzing. Da 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 da. DIY blinds. Change the ugly.
Tune in to the WNBL show, dropping weekly during the season and released across your favourite podcast network every Tuesday. Or watch the full vodcast at WNBL.basketbol. League MVP.
I'll never get used to that, by the way. That's a bit strange.
We can always come to you for a great inspirational quote.
Join me, Megan Hustray, and my team of co-hosts, stars across the league, as we talk about everything that's happening on and off the court in the Cygnett WNBL.
The ultimate Grand Slam experience is on 9 now.
Incredible stuff.
We've got every match on every court streaming for free.
How good is that?
Catch the thrilling highlights, follow your favourite players, and see the superstars whenever they play. The Australian Open, every match, every court streaming live and free on 9 now.
Gossip Girl here, your one and only source into the scandalous lives of Manhattan's elite. XOXO Gossip Girl.
Get your summer streaming on 9 now.
This is our vow to you.
What's coming down the aisle?
We'll send Australia
I look like the girl next door.
wild.
I'm actually a little freak in the sheets.
The phenomenon of love is bigger
You're a lucky man.
than ever.
She's not doing too badly herself.
New Married at First Sight, Monday, Jan 30 on 9.
The great champion. He's a rare phenomenon.
Who is the greatest tennis player of all time?
Djokovic or Nadal?
I wonder what the 100 thinks.
You have Australia's support.
Hi Hoopers, I'm Tess Madgen. I'm so excited to be offering virtual masterclasses this school holidays with She Hoops. Starting on the 9th of January at 5:30 p.m. every Monday night. In this 5-week series, we will be delivering a range of basketball skills. I will also take you through a number of mobility skills designed to keep your body active and engaged. And the best part is that it's free. Go to shehoops.com.au to register now and secure your spot.
The ultimate Grand Slam experience is on 9 now.
Incredible stuff.
We've got every match on every court streaming for free.
How good is that?
Catch the thrilling highlights, follow your favourite players, and see the superstars whenever they play. The Australian Open, every match, every court streaming live and free on 9 now.
So baby, in 90 days, we're gonna be husband and wife.
I was with her for 5 days, and then I proposed to her.
She's so eager to be in love, she lets red flags just go.
People say 19-year-old, she's just using you. Maybe she could be.
90 Day Fiancé. Get your summer streaming on 9 now.
It's the biggest WNBL season yet, and superstar Lauren Jackson returns. Turn it up. Don't miss a block, basket, or game winner.
Southside steal the win.
WNBL, live on 9 Now.
Welcome back to the National Convention Centre. It's the Southside Flyers putting on a clinic in that first half, showing why they are one of the main championship contenders this WNBL season. They lead 62-40 at half-time, a total domination offensively and defensively. Ben Waterworth with you alongside 12-time WNBL champ Carrie Graff. It's a pleasure to watch it. Sometimes the Caps go about their business, and it helps when they're going at 65% from the field.
Yeah, the Flyers are just flying. They, I mean, yeah, like I say, they can't miss. And I mean, their ability to get the ball inside, go to their strength, then spit it back out, hit the three. The points in the paint of the story there. Yep. 34 points. They can rebound. They run. They're playing with defensive intensity. As you say, they're making a statement about why they're a legit title contender.
Kayla Thornton has been one of the players of the game so far, already near a double-double, but also has the 5 assists as well. She came in off the bench as well, with Carly Ernst getting the start, but it hasn't made a difference to Kayla Thornton's output. She's got 15 points and 8 rebounds and 5 assists, and you felt like in that first half she was only sort of scratching the surface of her potential. She could really tear it to shreds in this second half.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing I've liked about them too is they've moved the ball. You know, unselfish play. We've seen them swing the ball around the outside, pound it inside when there's mismatches, and it's fun to watch and fun to play. When everyone's involved, they go to their strength, which is their interior presence, size and skill. You know, and unfortunately too, they're also against a totally undermanned and undersized UC Capitals that are, you know, doing their best to put up a battle. They're trying to mix up the defence, throw some 2-3 zone, try and come and double. But this Southside Flyers unit is just, you know, they're out of the gate and they're having fun.
Yeah.
You know, playing together, playing with intensity.
How tough is it from a coaching perspective when you're the team that's getting pummeled at the moment to try and keep it fun for the team as well? Yeah,
it's tough. I mean, I think for them, thankfully they're at home, so the crowd is still engaged. They're still enjoying it. You've got young players like Jade Melbourne. They're down 20. They're 1-13. She's still got a smile on her face. You know, credit to this young group that are undermanned and undersized. They're still playing with intensity. You know, Southside Flyers are outdoing them intensity-wise. They're smashing them on the boards. They're giving them a clinic down low. But this UC Capitals teams are still, you know, you wouldn't know by the scoreboard that that's the scenario. And that's what a hometown crowd will enjoy and watch and respect.
Second half underway from the National Convention Centre. It's the Flyers with a 62-40 lead. The Flyers sitting second on the WNBL ladder. The Caps sitting 8th. But, the Caps have shown plenty of fight and grit and determination in certainly the past month or so. Can they show that in this second half against this red-hot Southside outfit? It's just decided to start Lauren Jackson on the bench for this third quarter.
And that's the luxury for Coach Cheryl Chambers. You know, she's a veteran coach of this league. She's won championships. She's coached a number of teams. She played in the league for a long time. It's an opportunity for her to rest some of her star players, not risk injury. We know the GOAT, Lauren Jackson, is playing on a broken foot. She'll play out the season that way. You know, she had an absolute ripper on Wednesday night, but Coach Cheryl Chambers can rotate her bench, play different combinations, manage minutes for players and guarantee that they get a big win. You know, she'll keep an eye on the clock and the margin. It's a clock and score game, but if the margin gets a little tighter, she'll, you know, tighten up those rotations. But, you know, that's the luxury when you've got such depth that the Southside Flyers have.
Gee, lots of early fouls in this half. Rochi hits the deck as Burrell is called, and Rochi's just favouring that lower back as well as we have a look on replay.
Ooh. Looked like she got her body there. Maybe the referees deemed it was just a tad too late. She's got great anticipation, Maddie Rochi. She can move her feet, puts her body in great positions to get good calls.
Second foul on Rochi. It's Burrell who will not drop her energy and intensity, you know, throughout this second half. Delight to watch her go about her business this season, averaging the 14 points per game. Shanice Swain with the inbounds pass. Melbourne gets the screen from Pizzi. Burrell. Munga steps back, has a look for the triple. Looked her right off the hand, went out of bounds.
Pizzi was, you know, had 3 bites at a ball screen. Melbourne didn't want to take it. Someone else didn't want to take it. Munga says, all right, okay, I'll have a look at that, see if I can get myself a 3 ball. Doesn't drop for her.
Cole hit a lovely triple early on in this game. but that one doesn't fall. Kicking out for Munga. Second time lucky. No, not on this occasion. And it's bringing down the rebound. And number 250 in the WNBL for Carly Ernst. Thornton kicks it out for Cole. Blitzarves. Tough work in the key, but well off target. Still neither team yet to hit the scoreboard in this third quarter. Swain. Good defense there from Matty Rochi. Forced a tough shot. Rochi rips it away as well.
Rochi now barking orders, or is it Conti? It's Rochi.
It's hard to distinguish between the two sometimes. Certainly if you're up in the nosebleeds, they look very similar. Play with similar energy and bounce as Ernst tried to the hook and was well off target.
Backs down Burrell, who looks like she might have copped one in the ribs.
Melbourne driving on the baseline. Oh, tried the tough reverse, didn't quite come off. He's threatening to pull out a serious moment of the round. Jade Melbourne. Thornton goes to work on Pizzi. Tough fade away. Still can't get it to go. Neither team scored yet with 2.5 played in this third quarter. Burrell might end that drought though.
Crowd like that one. Bit of up-tempo play, a finish. Break the scoring drought for both teams for this third quarter.
She's up to 7 points. Ray Burrell, remarkably, she's drawn 5 fouls already in this game. Her intensity. Great ball movement from the Flyers. Burrell came in there, I reckon, just put Cole off to force a missed shot as Melbourne can't get the left-hand finish to go.
She gets downhill. She just can't find the finish here. Rochi gives her some of her own medicine back. Finds Thornton inside.
Blitzarves.
Gosh, they look good when they run. You know, they threaten the rim. They threaten a post up. They spit it out for the three-point shot. Looks like a practice drill.
Yeah, and as Carrie, you mentioned, they've got some serious three-point shooters as well. Blitzarves going 39% from three-point territory this year. And Melbourne, again, showing her class with a lovely layup.
Rochi now happy to run a half-court set for the Flyers. See if they'll try and get the ball back inside.
Rochi from way downtown. Boom!
She feels comfortable on this court. Had quite a few seasons with
yes.
number of seasons with the UC Capitals, part of championship teams.
Understudy to Leilani Mitchell and Olivia Cooper for a lot of years. Now she's really thriving with the responsibility as the #1 point guard at the Flyers.
Munga breathes a sigh of relief, making that one.
But she almost travelled. Ernst backing down and banks it in.
It's almost automatic for the for the Southside Flyers when they get it down low and they can back an opponent down one-on-one. Ernst does it, Thornton does it, LJ does it.
Still no Jackson in this third quarter yet. We're almost halfway through this third quarter. She started on the bench. Burrell. Oh, lovely. Kissing it off the glass sweetly. And at the other end, Ernst for Cole for another triple.
Wow. Can we say it? They are flying. The Flyers are flying. They can score inside. They're scoring outside. 73 points midway through the third quarter.
Living up to that brand name, no doubt. Burrell, can she answer at the other end? No, she can't all oxygen. Munga keeps it in and it finds Melbourne. Well played by Munga. Melbourne can't get it to go though. Ernst brings it away. Still great to show.
Rochi downhill.
Oh, Rochi, that's brilliant.
Finds the roll.
Draws the contact, count the points, and will head the line for an extra. Big game from Matty Rochi. Dare we say it, she's kind of on triple-double watch at the moment. She's got 16 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. It's the 7th time she's drawn a foul.
She won't be aware of that. But
we can ride at home here on 9 now.
Absolutely can.
Yeah. A big game, Matty Rochi. She's in some real hot form in the past couple of weeks. She's continuing that against the UC Caps today. Munga for Tonks. Swain, deep three. Good three. Wow.
She shot the three-point shot exceptionally well today. That's 3 of 4 for Shanice Swain, 75%.
Exciting young star. You see Caps unearthed this season. Cole. Bank wasn't open for her there. Thornton just rips it away from the Caps. Wanted it more than anyone else. Gives Southside a fresh 14. Ernst for the cutting Rochi. And Munga, who copped it pretty hard, is called for the foul.
Maddie Rochi's tough too. She puts her body on the line. She'll get involved in many collisions, defensively, offensively.
In fact, it's not Munga, it's Tuliak, sorry.
Welcome to the WNBL.
Yeah.
Ouch. Physical. It's for this non-physical game that is basketball.
So Maddie Rochi, one of 3 Southside Flyers players as part of this extended Opal squad, alongside Arjuna Poch and Sarah Blitzarves as well. All represented the Flyers. Of course, a number of former Opals on the Flyers roster as well, and a recent Opal as well in Lauren Jackson, who had that terrific World Cup campaign and finish. As Smart puts up the triple attempt and a bit too deep. Good, strong rebound from Kalia, but just lost control. 78-51 lead for Southside. Blitzarves to the left off the hand. Tuliak brings down the rebound. Munga always brings ample energy to the floor. Kicks it out for Smart, who has a look for 3, and she can't get it to drop. So still playing with lots of tempo, the Caps.
Yeah, they're taking decent shots. They've only got 1 post player. They're taking some perimeter shots.
Yeah.
They're hanging around. They've only been outscored, 6 points in this. Well, 4 points. Yeah, 6 points in this half, which is solid. But we see Thornton just go to work. I mean, that is just all class.
Kayla Thornton
leans to the inside, spins baseline aggressively, rolls off her man, and then shoots it under duress. I mean, that's not terrible defense.
No.
That there's effort there from the UC Capitals. They just can't match the size. Thornton, all class. Veteran of the WNBA, star player, legit. Got 2 small young athletes trying to defend her in the block.
Timeout called, and this timeout is brought to you by DIY Blinds. To fit out your home with Australian-made, designer-quality window furnishings, of course at the best prices. Order your free samples today at DIYblinds.com.au. So Kayla Thornton has taken her tally up to 17 points for the Flyers, who are now up to 80 points, continuing to hope to crack the ton for the 2nd time this season. But
she's on triple-double watch too.
Yeah, she is, Thornton. She's got 17, 9 and 6. So it feels, because a lot of players have kind of teased us with the triple-double. Ever since Kayla George was able to break that 10-year drought, we saw Lauren Scherf a couple of times sort of really tease us as well. We might be in business, I reckon, today, the way things are going. Yeah, Maddie Rochi's development, you just wonder how invaluable those years were learning under particularly Leilani Mitchell at the UC Caps, and how it's benefiting her down the track.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the challenges always for players. Often they'll hear people say, "Oh, don't play there. You've got to play behind that person." But your daily training environment it gets against one of the best point guards in the world.
Yeah.
So that it's a furphy sometimes. I think for young players, to go, "Oh, you've got to go somewhere where you're going to get minutes." Who are you going to get to practice against and with every day? Who are you going to get to watch when you're on the bench, developing your craft? All people say, "Oh, there's already a point guard there." If you're combo guards, play together. You defend each other at practice every day. That's the way you get better. It's and you can see it in Rochi now, and even with this Southside Flyers team, they got she has to defend Beck Cole at practice. Beck Cole defends her. That's what makes the great teams great. When they've got depth, the quality of their practice is through the roof, and that's how you get better.
Great to have the thoughts of 12-time WNBL champion Carrie Graff on 9 now. Hope you're enjoying the coverage wherever you're watching. The Flyers putting on a masterclass in the nation's capital, and even after, from this inbounds pass, they are not showing any mercy to this UC Caps side. Tonks back on the floor, trying to feed Smart. Trying to get the cut inside towards Pizzi. Didn't quite come off. Her idea was right, though.
Yeah, idea right, but the swarming defense of the Southside Flyers, that's one of their strengths. I mean, we talk about their offensive prowess, but wow. What a finish, Sarah Blickhurst. Great basket cut.
Absolutely bonkers. The clip that they're shooting today, the Southside Flyers. Blitzarves gets the 2 to go. She'll go to the line to complete a 3-point play. And dare I say it, Carrie, Sarah Blitzarves has missed just one of her last 23 free throw attempts.
And it's not like they're getting wide open shots. You know, this isn't disastrous defence by an undersized UC Capitals team. They're making shots over one player, over two players. Yes, they're undersized, but these are not wide open shots.
Still 2.5 to play in the third. The Flyers already have 84. 84-51 is normally a score you'd probably see it at full time. But we've still got plenty of time to go as Cherie Kalia hits a lovely triple.
Something for the home crowd to cheer about.
The Sydney Flames player, Cherie Kalia. Spent time out of the game, sort of late last decade in ACL, but really worked hard on her game as a foul is called. Turnover, offensive foul. Flyers players a little flabbergasted by the call. Najee Poch saying, I just had the ball ripped away from me for no reason.
Extended defensive pressure here by Southside Flyers.
Nice control here from Tonks. Kalia. Tonks guarded here by Thornton. Tuliak. His young Caps having a look. Speaking of young, Poch almost had it ripped away there off Smart. Great defense from Pinner, I think that is. Getting up high. Caps so still with the ball. Relentless on defense, the Flyers once again.
Yeah, they were. Nothing easy for the UC Caps. Get in the lane, you got length coming at you, you got physicality coming at you. You know, good body position, got a hand in.
Beck Pizzi at the free throw line. The former Southside Flyer herself. Just the 44% free throw shooter. Beck Pizzi, not her, certainly her strength statistically. And she's no good on those attempts. Kicked away by Monconti. Probably just got confused with sports, I think, momentarily. The AFLW star, 4-time Richmond best and fairest in the AFLW. Kalia with 10 to shoot here for the Caps. A minute 40 left in this third quarter. Smart trying to get around Blitzarves. Kalia from long range couldn't get that one to drop, and Conti with the long rebound.
Tough defense. Southside Flyers forced them to shoot a perimeter shot over a big hand. Nothing easy. No gaps to penetrate. Can't get by anyone.
Barely any stagnant play from the Flyers at the moment. The ball is just flying around. Unfortunately, Pinot's just stepped out of bounds, though, so they'll reload Canberra from their defensive baseline. 84-54 in favour of Southside. They've been putting up some big scores in the past couple of weeks, showing why they deserve to be right amongst the championship contenders. Tonks tries to get rid of Blitzarves. And did well in the end to find some space in the key and floated in.
Wow, that's tough. Blitzarves she's quick, she's got length, she's a tough defender. Floats one over the top. Nice finish for Tonks.
Lovely find though from Blitzarves. Thornton couldn't get the attempt to go, and then it's deemed off Thornton's hands, much to her bemusement. The crowd still making plenty of noise and getting right behind their side at the National Convention Centre.
Yeah, they are. Look, and if you took away the scoreboard and watched the way the teams are playing, you wouldn't think that the UC Capitals are verging on a 30-point deficit. That, you know, they're engaged, they're still high-fiving, they're putting effort defensively, working hard on the boards. They're just up against an outfit that are in unbelievable form, applying defensive pressure to them, making big shots, going to their interior strength.
And it was a foul, in fact, on Thornton. Good time to remind fans out there, there's already been great ticket sales already, but if you haven't got your tickets, make sure you do for the fiesta that is going to be at the John Cain Arena on Saturday, Feb 4, with the Southside Flyers hosting the Sydney Flames. It's the first ever WNBL game to be played at John Cain Arena. It's to provide sports fans with the opportunity to come together and celebrate the GOAT, Lauren Jackson, who has returned to the WNBL this season for the Flyers and is flying. So get your tickets at Ticketek. Blitzarves pulls the trigger on the triple. She's feeling it as well, Sarah Blitzar's 2 of 4 from three-point land for her.
They just make it look easy. When they're on song, the Southside Flyers make the game, both ends of the floor, look easy. They play as a unit.
Potch, even then, just grumpy that that foul call was given away. They are relentless out on the floor at the moment. Britt Smart will head to the line though. There was one stage where, sort of in the Melbourne Boomers, as I was trying to build towards the championship play, they had Smart, Bet Cole and Matty Garrick kind of all on the same team. And then they sort of all went their separate ways. Cole went to then Dandenong, Smart went to Sydney, and Garrick stayed with Melbourne. It's kind of all worked out pretty well for all three of them. Yeah, it's been a win-win-win, sort of how it's all panned out across the years. Conti with 6 to shoot, loses control. And Swain, can she beat the clock? Oh, Conti gives away the foul right at the end.
Conti stayed on the play though.
Yeah.
A younger player would have dropped their head and stopped at half court.
Yeah.
Swain would have got it. Conti lost the handle on that. Swain came up with a great steal. Conti didn't lose a beat. She sprinted after her. That was a nice little foot race. I wouldn't mind seeing that. That live with a gun and a shot clock. Swain gets herself on the rim. Conti stayed on the play. Good hoop to watch.
So Shanice Swain at the charity shop, 62% free throw shooter. Struggled in recent games actually. The last 2 games just shot at 22% from the field, including 0 of 9 from three-point territory, but that's flipped on its head today. She's been really good from beyond the arc. Gets a free throw right at the end. Conti runs out of time, and that is three-quarter time. And the Flyers continuing to flex their muscle in the nation's capital. The championship contenders with an 87-60 lead at three-quarter time. Carrie Graff that quarter entirely without Lauren Jackson. She didn't see any court time, but it mattered little as the likes of Blitzarves and Kayla Thornton got to work.
Yeah, too deep, too good, too big. This Southside Flyers team, they've just put on a masterclass. And as we've said, it's not through lack of effort or lack of intensity or even lack of defense at times from the UC Capitals players. It's just this team are firing on all cylinders at both ends of the floor. They're unstoppable.
Maddie Rochi has really warmed into the game as it's gone on. 19 points for her, 10 of 10 from the field. She's been fouled 8 times. Her ability to draw contact and then make the most of it, the charity stripe, has been outstanding. We've seen Nadia Potch has got 10 points to her name. Thornton leads all colours with 18. Blitzarves has the 15 as well. It is a team-orientated performance tonight. They're sharing the minutes around as well. Thornton's had the 27 minutes so far, but not too many sort of in that same vicinity. They're going at 59% from the field. It's pretty good not to be a Flyers fan.
Yeah, absolutely. 53 from the three-point line. We've talked about the points in the paint, their ability to, as you say, their perimeter players put the ball on the floor, get downhill, draw fouls or get cheap buckets, and their ability to recognise when someone's open the post. Then they open up from the perimeter. They're just such a tough team to defend. And their assist count, because they move the ball.
Yep.
They hit open cutters. They're playing such unselfish basketball. Whoever it is that's scoring, that's why they're hard to guard. They've got 5 athletes in double figures, and we've got a core of basketball to go. We've got 2 players on the cusp of a triple-double. I mean, it's pretty good basketball to watch. And even though it's a blowout, you wouldn't say it's a whitewash. Let's not walk away from it. It's still entertaining basketball.
You're talking just before the start of the third quarter about how Jade Melbourne still had a smile on her face. Just noticed them coming out of that discussion there. Kristen Veal, big wide smile on her face as well, and that sort of sets the tone as well. Hopefully they can still have some fun despite the scoreline. Maybe even put the scoreboard to one side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Final quarter underway from the NCC. Great to have your company for this Cygnett WNBL clash on 9 now. Thornton, the mid-range 2, is off target. And rebound brought down here by Jade Melbourne. Lobs it in, great run and recognition, and Pizzy drops it in for 2.
And the home crowd like that. We'll see some more zone here from the UC Capitals off the back of a basket. Nope, sticking with their man.
Melbourne guarding Rochi. Cole steps back, falling well short. Munga rushes in to grab the defensive board. Melbourne again was trying to find Burrell with the cut.
Tried to thread the needle. No sewing.
How good's this? Maddie Rochi v Jade Melbourne in the WNBL going at it. Two of the best young guards in Australia, and Rochi turns it over to another great young guard in Swain. Has Munga to her left, uses her, catches, shoots and knocks it down.
Crowd are liking that one. Gosh, Swain's good. She gets in the lanes for some steals. You know, I mean, there's a bunch of players on the Southside Flyers that can do that, but Swain's done that exceptionally well tonight. Even with her team down by a massive margin.
Ernst wants it in the post. Thornton looking for Ernst, but terrific slap away there from Swain. Burrell gets it from Pizzi. No foul call. Burrell flabbergasted by that. Flies with the stop. Rochi goes to work. Trying to spin her way out of trouble, but a turnover for Maddie Rochi at the start of this quarter. And then the Caps at the other end make them pay. Swain gets the two.
Bit of fun out on the break.
Yeah.
It gets a stop, shake it loose.
Timeout called, and it's the UC Caps who have kept the Southside Flyers scores early in this quarter.
Coach Cheryl Chambers wants to talk it over, make sure she puts a halt to this momentum. Don't want to give this young team any sense of a sniff of clawing back this margin.
This timeout brought to you by Aussie Hoops, which has just had its biggest year to date. Over 42,000 participants registering to a local Aussie Hoops centre nearby. It is the perfect introduction to the world of basketball for kids aged 5 to 10 years, Aussie Hoops. So whether your little one is a seasoned basketball fan or simply looking to get out there and give the sport a crack, they'll have an absolute ball of a time with Aussie Hoops. So register your interest now for your kid at aussiehoops.basketball to kickstart their journey. Sort of knowing Cheryl Chambers as well, Carrie, that timeout is far from surprising as well, despite the scoreline. She is so disciplined as well and has very high standards and expectations of her side.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're on a mission. You know, them, like a few other teams in the league, want to win it. You know, they're about trying to win a championship this year. You know, Cheryl Chambers is a 3-time coach of the year. She's a 2-time championship winning coach. She's won one at Sydney, won one with the Southside Flyers in the hub. You know, they're about business here. She's halting momentum, directive in that, animated. She was not settling for let's get execution, let's not get him steals, as Burrell comes up with another one.
And Ray Burrell rushes in and misses it, and then takes a massive tumble, almost colliding with the referee after she attempted it. Canberra crowd right up. Cole Munga enjoying what her teammates up to, and everyone gets around Ray Burrell after that terrific attempt. The steal, and then almost coming up with the athletic layup. That would have been a massive moment.
Yeah, the crowd would have jumped on that. The Caps had clawed this. It was a 30-point deficit. It's back to 20.
7 zips so far in this fourth quarter. Burrell with the handles. Getting around Cole, drawing the contact. Hits the deck again, and we go to the line and shoot a couple.
As we mentioned earlier, you know, that's what happens when you play with intensity. You can shift momentum. If you dip intensity, you've got no chance. And credit to this young, undermanned, undersized UC Capitals team that they've kept up the fight. 30 down, you could pack up your bags and roll out the bench and lay down and die, but they've certainly not done that. They've maintained intensity, hanging around, you know, reduced a margin from 30 back down to 19. Can they keep it interesting? Could they get it back to single digits in the next 5 minutes?
It's a Capital go on the free throw line, and they're now pressing up on defence. Are the Caps. Rochi guarded closely here by Melbourne. Thornton for Blitzarves. 7 to shoot. Forced almost out of bounds. Is out of bounds. Another turnover.
You see Caps there in a little 1-2-2 zone, changing up defensively, to come up with some steals. It's allowed them to push tempo.
This young side has got some big momentum. They've got a sniff. And they've got the crowd behind them as well. Terrific finish to this game for the Caps. Melbourne keeps control, gets rid of Rochi, and then runs into a Thornton wall, who rips it away from her. Rochi for Potch, who lost control, and Caps get the ball back.
Coach Kristen Veal giving Young Jade Melbourne, woe it up. Slow the horse down.
$87.69 in favour of the Flyers. Flyers yet to score, though, in this fourth term. Munga thought about the three. Still working in tandem with Pizzi. Melbourne for the triple. In and out. Riding every shot and every play at the moment, this UC Caps crowd. Poch, Thornton. Blitzarves for Rochi. Thornton wants it in the post.
Munga working hard, mismatch down on Thornton. Pizzi with the block from behind on Rochi.
One to shoot. Shot clock violation.
The crowd loving that. Force the shot clock violation. Rugged D still playing it out, 18 down.
Terrific fight back this is from the Caps. 18 points in 6.5 minutes is a lot of points to make up, particularly after you've already made up 7 points earlier. But they
expended a lot of energy.
Yeah, not dying wondering. Melbourne v Poch. What a matchup.
Munga likes her chances down low with the undersized Cole on her.
The foul and the whistle came before Munga had sort of been able to get rid of Cole, and an easy two beckoned.
And that's veteran play. You know, Bet Cole's a great defender. She's mismatched. She uses her body. And she gets that foul as the pass comes in. Knows it's going to be a base out of bounds. She's not going to give a shot. She's a smart veteran defender, Bet Cole. She's many things, but boy, she's a great defender.
Melbourne try to go behind the back. There's 6 to shoot for Burrell, who drives baseline for Pizzi, who couldn't quite get that one to go. Poch hits the deck, a little slow to get to her feet as the foul is called. It'll be a baseline ball here for the Caps.
Interesting if they can get Flyers in bonus. Get themselves some cheap points from the free throw line. Margin might just be too big to overcome. They've clawed it back from 30.
Melbourne along the baselines, turned it over. That was good defence from the Flyers, and Blitzarves just settles down the tempo somewhat with Rochi.
The clock is the Southside Flyers' friend. They want to keep attacking, but look, they've got a comfortable margin. Just under 6 minutes to play.
Thornton again wants it in the post. Rochi for Blitzarves, who has 3 to shoot. Poch loses control, and it's out of bounds.
Defensive intensity making the Southside Flyers hurry up a little bit. Forcing turnovers.
Still, the Flyers in 4.5 minutes in this quarter yet to score. They put 87 points on the Caps in the first 3 quarters. Burrell for Pizzi. Tonks gets the screen from Pizzi. Then Thornton arrives at the right time. And did well, Thornton, to force the turnover.
And Coach Cheryl Chambers, you know, she's essentially this last quarter iced Lauren Jackson up.
Yeah.
We see her still sitting on the end of the bench, but don't imagine we'll see it. The GOAT back in this one.
Blitzarves, deep 2, misfires. Still no points for Southside in this fourth term. Burrell for Pizzi. Try to thread the needle. Comes off Southside feet.
Sewing hasn't been the strength of this UC Capitals team, trying to thread the needle.
Pretty hard task when the Southside are so disciplined defensively. Tonks. Munga. Burrell with 8 to shoot. Goes to work, fades away, that's tough. And it drops. That is a bonkers shot from Ray Burrell.
Unbelievable defence, firstly, wow. And then to make that shot, fading away over Thornton, that's a big shot.
Won't get much better turnaround Jays than that. Thornton catches it in the low post and finally breaks the scoring drought for the Flyers. 5.5 minutes into this quarter.
Gosh, she's impressive down low, Thornton. She just knows how to use her body. She's a great finisher close to the rim. As we see here, great catch. Strength, just muscles her way up.
She'd been, for a number of plays in a row there, she'd been screening for the ball in the low post. It finally got to her and she made the most of it. Here is Lauren Jackson on screen. We haven't seen her at all in this second half. It's been a couple of games this year where she just hasn't lined up at all. It is all about, I think, for her and Cheryl Chambers, it's all about management for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. And she played a massive game on Wednesday night against Sydney in Sydney. Big minutes. It was a close one. They had to play her out. Coach Chambers smartly said, look, we've got a massive margin at halftime. We need to manage it. We know she's got a fractured foot. She's going to play out the season with that. It's manageable from medical advice, but, smart call by Coach Chambers. Sit her down, ice her up. Don't overcook it when you don't need to. The players, even like Lauren, if you give them the option, do you want to play? Their answer is always yes.
That's spoken from a coach who's talking from experience, I think.
When there's big margins, you go down the bench and say, you want to play that? Yep. Sure do, coach.
Always an opportunity to boost the averages late in the piece.
Players love to play.
89-71 lead here for the Flyers. 4.5 to play. It's an 11-2 fourth quarter in favour of Canberra. Burrell coming off a wicked turnaround jumper. Munger in the corner.
Big, excellent ball movement by the UC Capitals. Ball spits out of the penetration. Swing pass. Wide open for Munger in the corner.
It's starting to get to that point now where if you're a Southside Flyers fan, you're probably just a little uncomfortable. It's a 15-point differential with 4 minutes to go. Still a big task, but you're just uncomfortable if you're a Southside fan. Potch for Blitzers, loves that spot. Can't get it to go. Thornton can't pretend the offensive rebound. It's Dean, though, off Munger's hands. She can't believe it.
Match the ball movement there. Southside Flyers, same thing. Excellent ball movement. They get a wide open, 18-footer for Blitzarves. Couldn't finish it because she can finish that.
All class, Sarah Blitzarves gets one back. Just a second field goal for the Flyers in this fourth quarter. Impressive fight back from Canberra. Burrell crossing over, faking for Munger, who has 5 seconds to shoot now. That's tough. Some of these shots that are dropping this fourth quarter are ridiculous.
Extended defence by the Capitals off the back of that score by Munger.
Blitzarves tries to put up her own tough shot. No foul call. Back go the Caps. Melbourne goes herself. No foul call on that time either. So
Rochi again does a great job. Gets her body in great position. Forces Melbourne to shoot an off-balance shot. No foul call.
Blitzarves, Potch. Thornton again. Wants it in the post. Rochi wants the screen from Blitzarves. Instead steps back. Thornton just pulls the trigger. Needs to put up the three. And Blitzarves with a terrific offensive rebound. Really stood up there, did the Star Opal.
She has, particularly with LJ sitting down. Thornton and Blitzarves have certainly stepped it up intensity-wise. On the boards in particular.
(16-4) fourth quarter in favour of Canberra.
Blitzarves, as we know, great pedigree. Both her mum and dad represented Australia in basketball. Her mum an MVP of the WNBL.
Here is Sarah Blitzarves. Can't get the fadeaway to drop. Thornton, 4, 5, 6 grabs. Couldn't quite get there. Almost a head clash between Rochi and Munger. Rochi then went straight into the Canberra bench. Smart for Tonks for 3. Boom!
Back to 12.
What are we watching? This is a nuts fourth quarter from the Caps. It's a 19-4 fourth quarter.
Down 30, back to 12.
Blitzarves, 2 minutes to go. Kicks it out. Rochi for 3. Hits. And a huge sigh of relief from Southside fans.
Cool as a cucumber, Rochi. got her sights set, stroked that one in, pushes that margin back out to 15, and you might say that's the sealer, I think.
Any doubt they have just been quashed then. Munga might have something to say about that. What a fourth quarter they've had from the field, the UC Caps. Rochi for Thornton. Just got to stay disciplined and patient here. The Flyers. Thornton misses, brings in the offensive rebound, and will able to draw some contact there, Kayla Thornton.
You know, the Goats sat for this whole second half. Yeah, Thornton's work rate in the post on possession. Sarah Blitzarv, same thing. You know, the talent, it's a talent-laden Southside Flyers outfit, and they've got talent sitting out.
Yeah.
Captain Amy Rochi out with a back injury. Veteran, former Opal Abby Bishop out with health and safety protocols. The Goat sitting down nursing her injury, and the list goes on with talent. Not with injury, but with talent.
We've got to be impressed by what Canberra have been able to show in this fourth quarter. They were struggling at three-quarter time, but they have been able to flip it around, totally flip the script. Certainly, as I mentioned before, just made Southside fans and Coach Cheryl Chambers a little uneasy, forced an early timeout call, but even after that timeout, they've continued to push the Flyers after that carry.
Yeah, they have. You know, I think the defensive intensity, they come up with some steals early. We're mixing up the defense in 1-2-2 zone. They're switching man. They shook the ball loose and got out with some early baskets. That sort of, forced Coach Cheryl Chambers, we talked about, called that early momentum timeout.
Yep.
And then they've stayed rolling. And the benefit for them in this fourth quarter is they've actually made shots. And I mean, not easy shots either. They've made some tough shots over contested defence. I don't think the intensity of the Southside Flyers defence has dropped. I think the UC Capitals just managed to make some big shots against tough defence. I mean, it's been a high quality contest. You certainly wouldn't say, it's been poor defence, hence the high scoring. I think defensively there's been great intensity. The UC Capitals have struggled through lack of size to defend the interior game and prowess of the Southside Flyers, but it's certainly been an entertaining and quality game of WNBL.
Thornton at the line connects with her first free throw attempt.
Put some icing on the cake, you would say.
84% free throw shooter normally, Kayla Thornton as well, and she's cool and composed in this situation. And she has another 20-plus point ball game for her. Double-double for her, 22 points, 12 rebounds, 7 dimes as well.
The intensity of the Southside players are still playing defence.
Smart misses, but gets the offensive rebound and couldn't quite bank it in. The only shot that really hasn't dropped. Those tough shots have done fantastically well for the Caps in this quarter. Rochi for Cole. Thornton, Potch working it around the perimeter. 6 to shoot. So Potch goes to work. That's tough. She will go to the line to try and shoot 2.
Her athleticism was tough to guard. Kalea did her best, got her hands in though. Clearly a foul. Maybe in that situation you foul a little sooner, send it to the baseline out of bounds rather than the free throws, but
she's going to be a handful for opposition sides. You would sense around the world in a few years' time, Nadia Potch.
Yeah, she's, and I think learning how to use her length.
Yeah.
She's Ezzy McBeggar-like in terms of that, her length, her athleticism, and even her composure. We saw her make those huge blocks in a massive game, and the bench were more excited than she was.
Yes.
And very Ezzy-like.
Probably what she's got on Ezzy at this stage, if they're at the same careers, is probably the three-point shot, because Ezzy, that's something that Ezzy's worked on over the past few years. And Nadia's already sort of seemed to have got that pretty well down pat. So Monconti on the floor, winding down the clock here. Cole will put up a 2, hoping for a consolation bucket, but it won't quite come to fruition. Oh, hoping for one more shot here. Britt Smart pulls up and can't get it to go. And that is a funny old WNBL result for the Southside Flyers. They were dominant for 3 quarters, absolutely dominant. And totally deserved to win. Best team on the park tonight. A 97-81 victory. And it came after the UC Caps came with a surge late, a 21-10 fourth quarter. And that 10 is Southside's lowest quarter. So tonight they've had their biggest quarter of the season, 34 in quarter 1, and their lowest quarter of the season in that 10-point fourth quarter. If you're Cheryl Chambers, you're sort of walking away still glass half full though, Carrie?
Yeah, absolutely, and particularly with what they sat the GOAT for the second half to manage her minutes, and they had a massive lead, a 30-point lead, right thing to do, and they were playing well, playing high intensity. Even then, I'm going to say that momentum swing from 30 back to that 16 was all about the UC Caps. It wasn't lack of focus or lack of intensity on the Southside Flyers' part, in my mind. Their defensive intensity was still up. They were still executing. UC Capitals shook a couple of steals loose, got a bit of momentum, got the crowd on their back, made shots. You can't be too disappointed with that.
Yep.
Still a 16-point win.
Yes.
You got to rest players, you're without players. The quality of their basketball was good. They moved the ball. Their defensive intensity was good. You've got to be happy with most of that. It's not all about the margin.
No, definitely not. Here's a look at some of the fourth quarter highlights, which was predominantly the UC Caps as well. At one stage, they had 16 points to 4, and then just a couple of clutch free throws from the likes of Kayla Thornton and Maddie Rochi as well. Really sealing the deal for the Southside Flyers. As you mentioned, Sarah Blitzard sort of lifted her intensity off the glass as well in Jackson's absence. But there's a lot to like from a Caps perspective in that last quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. They didn't quit. We said that throughout the course of the game. If you took the scoreboard away, you wouldn't know that it was a 30-point or a 20-point margin. Their intensity was up. They played small ball the entire game. They're playing with one post.
Yeah.
Beck Pizzi, who's been a role player up until now in her career. And then you're playing with, people that are 5'11" and under on the rest of the floor, trying to defend the size and talent of Southside Flyers inside. So, they kept the crowd involved. We see the full-time stats there. Great shooting display by the Southside Flyers, 50% from three-point range, 52, that dipped a bit. That was 70% at one stage.
Yeah.
Their ability to finish under duress, under pressure, inside the keyway was phenomenal. They dominated their points in the paint scoring was the story of the game. The Caps to even up that rebound contest 34-40, as undersized as they are, speaks to effort.
Yeah, most definitely. Great effort off the glass from the UC Caps. They were led really, really nicely by Mungo, who had the 7 rebounds. One game to go in the Cygnett WNBL in round 11, and it is a top 4 cracker. The Melbourne Boomers up against the Bendigo Spirit. Coverage from 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time tomorrow. That is going to be one you will not want to miss. But that is us from Canberra. Carrie, it's been a pleasure to sit alongside you.
Same, Ben.
Get home safe, and everyone at home, hope you enjoy the rest of your night. From Canberra, we're wrapping up. It was comprehensive in the end, with maybe just a little scare at the end for the UC Caps. They were able to get the victory. The Flyers were able to get the victory 97-81 on behalf of Carrie Graff and our entire hard-working team. This is Ben Waterworth signing off from the nation's capital, where the Flyers continue on their winning ways.